So today we will be starting with the chapter trial balance, a very important chapter in accounts. Okay, in your real life also, you are going to face this trial balance if you are going to be in the field of accounts, or even if you are doing business. Then when you will see your books of accounts, you will be looking forward to check the trial balance. Now basically let's understand the flow of our books of accounts. So we started our journey with the systematic recording of transaction by writing journal entries, subsidiary books, then going for ledger posting. Now once ledger posting is done, we have lots of accounts. We have a book, ledger book, where there are lots of accounts which we have created. Now, from this ledger posting, we prepare a trial balance. So, what exactly is a trial balance? So, I'll come over here on this side. Trial balance is basically it's a statement. Okay, it's not an account. It's a statement of what? It's a statement of balances of all ledger accounts. So, what are ledger accounts we have created, and wherever there are balances, we prepare a statement, okay, which shows the balances of all ledger accounts at a particular point of time, say as on 31st March, as on 31st January, as on 31st December, as on 28th or 29th of February. So on a particular day, we prepare the statement of balances of all ledger accounts. Now, why do we do that? What is the purpose? Now, the purpose is first, very important, is to know the arithmetical accuracy. Accuracy. So, what is the arithmetical accuracy? So whenever you prepare a trial balance, which is basically a format like a journal only, you write the name of the account and the balances, and at the end your debit side should be equal to your credit side. If it matches, it means you are arithmetically correct. It means your debit effect and credit effect, both what you have given, are the same. The total of the trial balance has no significance. Looking at the total, we cannot say कि ये amount इतना बड़ा है तो ये क्या है. We can't say that. But debit should be equal to credit. If it is happening, it means arithmetically or mathematically we are correct. It means during ledger posting, we have given proper effects on the debit and on the credit side. Now, one is this. Second is it helps us to locate errors. So, in case our trial balance does not tally and helps us in rectifying it, in rectification. In case our trial balance does not tally, then what happens? So, if the trial balance does not tally, it means we are sure we have made some mistake. So what we do is we go back and we check what mistakes we have made. We try to locate the error and then we rectify those errors. So we locate errors, we rectify them, because you know that the whole purpose of going through this process of recording of transaction, posting, trial balance, and then final accounts is to know the financial position of the business. So to know the financial position, we should have correct set of books of accounts. So सब कुछ properly record और posting भी properly होना चाहिए, trial balance भी properly बनना चाहिए. Then only we will come to know the correct financial position. So it's very important. So trial balance will help us to locate errors. And many times, even if the trial balance tallies, okay, there can be errors. So it is not necessary that if the trial balance is tallying, so there are no errors. When you see the chapter rectification of errors, you will see some errors over there that in spite of the trial balance being tallied, there are errors. So obviously, if you say, ki, sir, does it mean ki trial balance tallies means our books of accounts are perfect? I would say no. Your books of accounts, we cannot say they are perfect. We can say mathematically they are correct. If you want to check whether they are proper or not, we have to go into detailed checking of everything. And then maybe we may be in a position to form some opinion about it. So one is to know the arithmetical accuracy. Second is to locate errors and rectification. Third is now after trial balance, the okay, after trial balance, the next is the final stage of this process of recording and classifying and analyzing is final accounts. Now, when you go for final accounts, okay, you will be preparing final accounts from trial balance, and that is why we say trial balance helps us in preparation of final accounts. Now, you may all please write all these things, and then the fourth one, okay, the purpose of making a trial balance, as you all know, it's a statement. So it shows balances of all ledger accounts. Now, what if a ledger account does not have a balance? So your debit side or credit side of the ledger balance has tallied. It means there is no balance. So it will not come in trial balance. So only those accounts which has balances will go to trial balance. Shows balance of all ledger accounts. So these are the four broad categories why we go for preparation of trial balance. So please write this and then we'll proceed with the sums. Now for sums, you have to make a simple format. You will have particulars, you will have LF, you will have debit amount rupees and credit amount rupees. Okay, that's it. So accordingly, you draw the format. Here you will not have date. If you want, you can make a column of serial number. Okay, number one, number two, number three, number four. But in the textbook, serial number is not used, so I'm not using it. If you use, it's not wrong. Make now question number 4, page number 260 from the textbook. From the given information, prepare trial or balance. So it's a trial balance. Printing mistake है यहाँ पे. So इसको हम correct कर देते हैं. Trial balance of Praveen Patel as on 31/3/2016. Now you take a pen or pencil and we start writing where will the balances come. So name of the account is given and amount is given. So now we have to see whether it is a debit balance or a credit balance. Now, how would we come to know whether it is a debit balance or a credit balance? So debit balance, so on the debit side, what will come? All assets will come and expenses will come. Assets will come and expenses will come. On the credit side, what will come? Liabilities will come,
and income.
capital will come, and income will come. So all these accounts, okay, will be either debit if it is asset or expenses, credit if it's liability, capital or income. If you classify it according to types of accounts, so goods related account like purchase, sales return will have a debit balance, goods comes in, goods goes out will have a credit balance like sales, purchase return, goods given, goods withdrawn, goods destroyed, goods stolen, and then expenses, also nominal account, expenses debit, income credit. Okay, and we have assets and liability, that is receiver, giver. We have to see whether it's our asset, whether it's our liability, and accordingly classify. So debit side and credit side. Now we go to the first one, stock. Opening stock is our asset, so you write debit over there. Then wages is our expense, so debit. Sales, goods goes out, credit. Repairing, debit. Expense, tax, debit. Land and building, can you tell me?
Debit.
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 Plant and machinery, debit.
यही है.
Electricity expense, खर्चो छे expense से debit. Capital, credit. Office salary, debit. Patent, debit. Asset. Bank balance, asset, debit. Bank loan, liability. Carriage inward, expense, debit. Purchase, goods comes in, debit. Carriage outward, sales related expense. So profit and loss, it will come, it's an expense. So debit. Debtors, asset, so debit. कैश बैलेंस असेट, सो डेबिट. लूज टूल, दिमाग में है वो नहीं कि स्क्रू ढीला है, वो नहीं. ओके, लूज टूल करंट असेट है, डेबिट. क्रेडिटर्स, liability, we have to pay. Sundry income, so creditors liability, so credit. Bank loan also credit. Sundry income, credit. Office furniture, asset, debit. Goodwill, asset, debit. So लिख लो please, and then we go to the sum. Okay, now let's write the heading. Trial balance, page number 260, question number 4. Let's start one by one. First is opening stock. Okay, opening stock 7440, right on the debit side. Headings are pretty normal. You have particulars, LF, debit and credit. LF is because we know from which page number of the ledger book, okay, we have this account of opening stock. That's why. So you have to just leave it blank. Opening stock 7440, wages, debit 4000. Now, wages 4000. Okay, because we also have to write the heading. I forgot to write trial balance of Praveen Patel as on 31/3/2016. Please write this. Next, sales credit 48,000. Repairing 800. Repairing expense. I'll write expense over here so you know that's why it is debit 800. Then tax tax, debit 600, then land and building is our asset, land and building 2400, plant and machinery 3000. These are all balances of accounts, okay? So asset account will have a debit balance, expenses, electricity expense 920, capital 16,000, office salary
सर
1,000.
तो स्लो टाइप कर सर
हाँ तो स्लो टाइप करीશ ओके ऑफिस एक्सपेન્સ માનવ આ બધું માર્ક કરેલું જ છે તો તું તારા સ્પીડથી લખ ઓકે અને પછી હું આઈ વેઇટ ફોર યુ ઓકે ડોન્ટ ઓફિસ સેલરી 1000 સોરી વોટ માનવ
સર માવા છે હમણાં ટેક્સ્ટ બુક હમણાં સર છે નહીં માવા છે હમણાં
ઓકે કઈ વાંધો નહીં ઓકે આઈ ગો સ્લો ઓકે પેટન્ટ 400
યસ સર
bank balance 1800 debit. Now bank loan, so it's a liability 1760 1760. Then carriage inward, it's a expense 1200. Purchase goods comes in debit 30,000. Purchase account will always have a debit balance 30,000. Carriage outward. Now be careful. Carriage inward is also debit. Carriage outward is also debit because both are expense. Inward is for getting goods to our business place. The expense what we incurred on carriage and carriage outward means we are sending goods to customers' place and bearing that cost of carriage. So both are expense. So please be careful. Okay. Carriage outward also debit 600. Debtors 8,000. Cash balance 80. Loose tools 720. It's a current asset. Creditors liability 3,200. Sundry income. It's a income. So credit the income. Okay, that should come in your mind. That's why keep on reciting the golden rules again and again and again and again. Okay, office furniture. फर्नीचर है तो हमारा असेट है सो डेबिट साइड 240 एंड गुडविल 6000. So if all is done, now you have to do the total of debit side and credit side and you have to see whether it is matching or not. Trial balance is tallying or not. I'll use Excel formula 69,200 and 69,200. So please check your trial balance should tally. If it tallies, congratulations, your first trial balance of your life got tallied. Total 69,200. Just go through it. See if you have any doubt. You can ask me, sir, why debit, why credit, why not debit, why not credit? You can ask. Okay. What all I think is important for you to understand or to revise, I'll do it along with this.
હા સર.
Yeah, Mano?
સર હવે આપણને ખબર કઈ ન પડશે કે આ પેલું જે સેન્ટેન્સ છે ડીઆર કે સીઆર માં આવશે પણ ખબર કઈ ન પડશે.
ये આપણને ખબર છે કે અગર અસેટ હોય તો ડેબિટ આવશે, એક્સપેન્સ હોય તો ડેબિટ આવશે અને અહીંયા મેં લખેલું છે જો તું લખી લે. અને લાયબિલિટીઝ હોય તો ક્રેડિટ, કેપિટલ હોય તો ક્રેડિટ અને ઇન્કમ હોય તો ક્રેડિટ.
લખેલું મેં સર.
શું
લખેલું મેં સર માં.
ઓકે ઓકે ખ્યાલ આવી ગયો તમે?
હા સર ખ્યાલ આવી ગયો.
Okay, now all of you please make format for question number 10. Okay, question number 10. So let's start bifurcating this question number 5 from page number 261. Mark it important for your exam. Expected such sums. Now, from the following balances of accounts, prepare a trial balance of Sri Brij Mohan as on 31/3/2016. Now, let's go one by one. Opening stock, debit, freehold asset, debit, sundry debtors, asset, right to receive the money, debit, factory expense, kharcha, debit, purchase of raw material goods comes in, debit, factory rent, kharcha, debit, discount allowed, debit, sundry creditors, credit, liability, bad debt reserve. Now, bad debt reserve, all reserves coming in the trial balance will have a credit balance. When we do final accounts, we treat it very differently. We will see when we go to final accounts. As of now, all reserves, provisions will have a credit balance. Commission paid, debit, ऑफिस एक्सपेंस, डेबिट, सब प्लीज अपना माइक म्यूट कर दो. ट्रैवलिंग एक्सपेंस, डेबिट, बैंक बैलेंस, असेट, लोन बोरोड, वी हैव टेकन अ लोन, सो बैंक बैलेंस असेट, सो डेबिट, लोन बोरोड, लायबिलिटी, सो क्रेडिट, net sales, goods goes out, credit, plant and machineries, asset, debit, wages, expense, debit, carriage inward, debit, royalty, if nothing is given, we take it as debit, carriage outward, again debit, be careful, carriage inward debit, and carriage outward also debit. Capital, credit, discount received, credit, insurance expense, debit, commission received, income, credit, ये सब लिखना प्लीज. बैड डेट एक्सपेंस, डेबिट, सैलरी, डेबिट, लीगल एक्सपेंस, डेबिट, कैश बैलेंस, डेबिट, ऑफिस रेंट, डेबिट. तो ये करने के बाद वी मेक द फॉर्मेट ऑफ ट्रायल बैलेंस एंड वी स्टार्ट making the trial balance. So please go through this and let's start. So we start with opening stock. So opening stock, debit 7,800. I have a textbook in front of me, so I'll directly see from there. You also keep the textbook in front of you. Freehold asset, debit 15,000, sundry debtors, debit 6,000, factory expenses, debit 800, purchase of raw material, debit 7,500, factory rent, debit 700, rent यानी भाड़ा, okay, discount allowed, debit 400, sundry creditors, credit 2,000, then bad debt reserve, credit 150, commission paid 500, then office expense 750, then traveling expense 100, then bank balance 420, so these, then loan borrowed, we have taken a loan, so it's a liability 3,000, net sales 33,000, goods goes out, credit what goes out. Now plant and machinery 4,500, wages 1,000, carriage inward 90, royalty. Now what is royalty? Royalty is you are using a technology or developed by someone to manufacture and sell something, so you have to give royalty to the person who has that technology. For example, Hero, Honda, Maruti, Suzuki, okay. So that is what, how royalty works. You write a book, okay, so every copy that is sold, the publisher will give you royalty. You sing a song or make a song, okay, so every time the song is sold, the music company will give you some money, which is known as royalty. You make a film, every time the film is telecast, okay, you will get some money, that is known as royalty. So royalty can be income also, royalty can be expense also, but over here it's a factory, so it means we are giving royalty to someone. So if nothing is given, it's your expense. So royalty expense 100. Carriage outward is not credit, it is debit. Because of the word outward, you don't get confused. It is carriage we paid for sending goods out. So 100. Then capital 8,000, Then discount received 360, discount received is our income, insurance 200, expense, commission received is 1500, it's our income, commission received 1500, income, bad debts. It's our expense. People from whom we have to take money, they have refused to pay, they have become insolvent, they are not paying. So we are considering that as our bad debts. So it's a loss of business. So debit side 150, salary 1000, legal expense, it's an expense. So debit 100, cash balance debit 400, and office rent, it's an expense 400. So go through it and let's do the totals and check whether it is matching or not, arithmetically we are correct or not. Let's check. So total comes to 48010. Let's check. Yes, debit is equal to credit. So it's a great feeling. Tally हो गया. Okay. So 48010 and total. So it matches. It's amazing. Go through the trial balance once again. See if you have any doubt, any questions. Okay, now you have understood the step. Now over here it is given like this. When you do it from ledger posting, you have to go to every account and pick up the balance and post it in the trial balance. Okay, you know already know the process because we have you already know the process because we have already done whenever already done chapter ledger posting because we did ledger posting and from that only we prepared the trial balance. If you are still not thorough with that concept, then please watch the video lecture and go through the process once again. Okay. Now this telling of trial balance means that our ledger posting is mathematically or arithmetically correct. It means we have given two effects properly which are equal and opposite. That is debit is equal to credit. This does not mean there are no errors. Okay, please mind it. Still there can be errors and you will see this when you do the chapter rectification of errors. So that's it. Okay. Let me write
Sir,
that. Yeah.
sir, yesterday you texted me about the suspense account. तो सर ऐसा तो टेक्स्ट बुक में कुछ है ही नहीं है चैप्टर में.
ये वो है in some of the sums. Further sums it will come. Just a minute. Now, whenever you are given a sum like this and you have done everything proper, still it does not match. Okay. In that case, it means there is some problem with our trial balance because of some wrong ledger posting. So in that case, we use a temporary account known as a suspense account. Okay, so in further sums, we are going to see this in sum number 6. We are going to see suspense account, what exactly it is. So in our next session, we will discuss that. how suspense account comes and how to record that when our trial balance does not match, even when everything we have done correct. Okay, Titi?
Okay, sir.